We have people waiting.
Of course.
Layla, Victoria, hello, welcome. Oh, Layla vanished.
Terrific.
Like, fuck you.
I'm out.
All right, going live on Instagram. Jalen, Barbie. Hey, Barbie.
What up?
Okay. Let's see. This is a good one. This is a good one today. It's fun. Stacy, Kalia, Brian, hello. Lindsay, hi. Oh, lots of new people. Hi. Everyone hearing? Everyone good? Was waiting for this topic.
Who was waiting for this?
Barbie.
Uh-huh.
Hello. Yes. It's good to have you in the community, Layla. Nice to meet you. Let's see. How to select what you would like to experience. Hello. Hello. Peter, Arsene, Diana. Hi, Diana. About time. Interesting. I feel like a lot of people wanted this topic.
And yet no one said anything.
No one said anything.
But that's okay. Because your intuition came to me and said, I got the perfect topic. That's okay. So you didn't have to say anything. That's the beauty of it. You didn't have to.
Hello, Victor. Hey, Crystal. John's here. Andrew,
what up?
Stevens, Anastasia.
What up? What up?
I'm the one who messaged you on TikTok about getting goosebumps. I haven't seen my TikTok messages in a while. They haven't been loading, which is weird. Maybe I have to update it. I haven't seen your message, Layla. Hey, Nor. Oh, I love how everyone's like icons are pink and purple today. That's strange. Normally they're a bunch of different colors. Pink and purple. Didn't know how to articulate it. Interesting.
That's all right. I got you covered.
Huh.
Got you covered. We're going to go into it. And not only are we going to go into it, as we do, we're going to go all the way. All the way. So don't just rely on what's currently on the board, if you can even read it, because I can't. And because there's going to be more than what's going to go on this board, we're going to really go into this.
Awesome.
Although I will say that this particular part of it is quite simple.
Cool. So everyone knows this is going to be recorded inside both our community and on Instagram. So, yes. Kira, what's up? The word. Anita's here. Caroline.
Of course.
Caroline.
Of course. Of course.
Anita said it feels like it's been years since the last time I've been here.
Except the last class I did was only not that long ago, a couple of days ago, as a matter of fact. So, yeah.
All right. We are going to start whenever Andre's ready. Hey, Brenda. Hey, Sergio.
All right. So, welcome. Welcome to today's class. Today, we're going to be talking about clearly a very highly needed to be discussed topic because I'm talking about it. And it is how to select what you would like to experience. Alternatively worded is how to actually choose what it is you want. So one of the things that come up, and put this in the chat, both Instagram and the community, all right? One of the things that comes up, I actually see this a lot, is people don't know how to make up their minds. They go, and this is especially prevalent with the people that I encounter who identify as multi-passionate people, okay? And I mean, even in that, it's kind of funny, but whatever. So I get this a lot. I get this, what do? I don't know. I can't pick. I can't pick them all at once. I just don't know which one to go with. We're going to talk about it. This also is not just limited to things that you want to do in terms of, let's say things you want to do for fun, but this also can apply to if you have a business, things you want to do to make money or whatever the case is, this will apply to that as well. All right. Now, this is a very simple thing that will require some explanation. So I will get into that. but I'll do my best to answer the questions that will come up from this because I know that it's going to lead to a few questions. All right. So with that being said, let's rap about it. Okay. So how many of you who are currently watching this, how many of you have more than one thing that you would like to do and you can't choose? Put it in a chat.
My avatar definitely identifies as a multi-passionate person. Maya.
Yeah.
But who here considers themselves multi-passionate? Yes.
Well, that wasn't my question.
Oh.
That was.
All right, I'll ask it again.
My question was, how many of you feel as if there are many things that you want to do, but you can't pick between which one?
Oh, okay. Well, lots of yeses.
Okay. I'm avoiding labels.
Ah, I see.
All right.
No
Right? We get away from labels here. All right. So, cool. All right. This is common. In fact, it's so common that many of us have absolutely no idea what to do with ourselves. And instead of actually doing even one thing, because there's so many things that we want to do, we end up doing nothing. How many of you have experienced that? Well, we're going to refer to this as what some of us may know as analysis paralysis. Oh, I could do that. I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. And all these considerations between all these different things, and you're like, you know what, fuck it. I don't even feel like doing it no more.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. It can be a lot. And then you just do nothing, like you said.
Right. So this can be, as Sam said, it can be quite overwhelming because we not only get overwhelmed by the sheer amount of things that we want to do, but we also then get overwhelmed with the resentment of not having done any of them. Does that sound familiar?
Beating yourself up. Yes. Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, it's very common. I used to do this. Like, I would be one of those people that would be like, I want to do all these different things, and then I would do none of them. And then I would say to myself the same thing that I know a lot of you say, okay, where it's, wow, I can never stick to anything.
Ooh, yes.
Now, I know that's you. You don't have to say nothing. You don't even have to put it in the chat. Okay, you can, but you don't even have to. I know, that's you. I can never stick to anything. You have a workout plan, you do it for 2 days, and you're like, man, I want to go do something else. But I don't want to do that something else. I want to stick to the workout. But I don't really want to stick to the workout because I never felt like doing it in the first place. So then you just kind of create these endless loops of resentment toward yourself for never being able to stick to anything. Right?
Yes.
Okay. This is incredibly common because every single one of us does it. Every single one of us does it. All right. Now, alternative to what you may have heard or may have experienced previous to now, I want to give you a very simple guideline that I will then go into explanation about. A very simple guideline that will help you in this particular endeavor, okay, of being able to pick what it is that you want to do. All right. Now, any limitation that you've ever experienced, I want you to pay very close attention to yourself when I say this. Pay attention to how you feel. I'm going to ask you how you feel in a moment, okay? Any limitation that we experience one at a time. We don't experience them multiples at a time. So for example, if you're experiencing a money limitation, you don't also experience a self-loathing limitation at the same time, okay? Your experience reflects a lot of the money limitation that you're currently feeling, right? And then when you move from that limitation to something else, that limitation takes precedence, right? So let's say that you've got a problem with your cousin, but then all of a sudden, an unexpected bill comes up. Well, your attention is going to be on one of those two things. It won't be on both. No matter how much you try to bounce between them, your attention will always be on just one of those things. You do your best. You go, oh, I'll try to juggle. Okay. And then you'll even give yourself a pat on the back for, what is it called? Multitasking. You'll give yourself a pat on the back for multitasking. Oh, I was able to do all those things. But you're exhausted and you're miserable. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty sure it should, because all of you do it. But every limitation that you experience, every single one of them, you experience one at a time. Even if you were sitting there going, okay, well, I'm going to pay attention to my cousin. Oh, I'm going to pay attention to this bill. Oh, I'm going to pay attention to my cousin. Oh, I'm going to pay attention to this bill. It's still one at a time. It's never simultaneous. Okay, you're never looking at both limitations at the same time. You are hopping back and forth. This is no different than if one bill popped up and then all of a sudden a different bill popped up. You're going to be looking at one of those bills. In fact, let's even take it away from limitations and let's look at bodily functions. Okay, bodily functions. Let's take your eyes, for example. This is going to be something that's replicated in your experience, and I'll demonstrate this for you. When you look at something, anything, right? When you look at something, you focus specifically on the thing that you're looking at. Okay? You focus specifically on the thing that you're looking at. And everything else around what you're looking at gets blocked out. Right? In fact, if you even do it right now, okay, do it right now, look at something, then attempt to look at something that is around what you're looking at. You may notice that one thing is, the focus of one thing is very clear and everything else around it is blurry. To do that, and then if you experience this, post it in the chat. Again, take a look at something in your experience and then try to look at something that's around it, right? You'll see the one thing that's clear and everything else will be blurry. You won't be able to make out what it is, even though you can assume as to what it is, but it won't be clear. Did you experience that just now?
Yes. Yes. All around what I'm looking at is blurry, not in focus. Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Now, this is no different than the limitations that you experience. The same thing that happens with your eyes is the same thing that happens with your ears. It's the same thing that happens with your nose. You ever pick up more than one smell at a time, but your nose, you actually focus on one of those smells? It's the same thing. We do this repeatedly, over and over and over and over again. Okay? Over and over again. Now, let me tell you why this happens. Okay? This happens because we are trained to movement. In other words, we look for movement in our experience. And so if something is moving, let's say a train or a car, right? We tend to focus our attention on that, right? We tend to focus our attention. We go, oh, look, there's a car. Now, let's say you're outside and you see a bunch of trees and none of them are moving, but then you see the car move. Okay, it moves. Now you go, well, wait a second. That particular item that you just told us to look at was still, right? So how does that apply there? Well, your eyes move, don't they? Your eyes had to move for you to observe that object, right? Don't worry, the answer is yes. It's the same thing. Your eyes, if they don't observe movement, are designed to look for it. which causes what? Movement, right? Causes movement. So this is the same thing that we do within our experience when we're looking at our limitations. We pay attention to the most relevant thing that is taking place in our experience right then and there, because that's where the movement is. So that's where you can have that experience of panic and et cetera, in your feelings. Let's say an unexpected bill comes up. Let's say it's $600. Well, you only have $400 to your name, right? Well, you may feel like there's an obligation to making sure that that gets handled as soon as possible. So that's where the movement is in your experience. Does this make sense? In the chat.
Is everyone following along? Yes, we're getting emojis. Lots of emojis. How about the community? Is everyone following along? They're paying attention. Yes. Okay, great. Awesome.
All right. So we become addicted to this movement, whether we're creating the movement or we are observing it. Let me repeat that for you. Okay. We have become addicted to movement, whether we are creating it ourselves or we are observing it. If something is moving in your background, you may find that your eyes don't move as much because you're observing the movement. And so your eyes are only paying attention to the thing that moves. So when a car moves, for example, or is going through your experience, you may draw your attention to the car, but your eyes may not necessarily move. Maybe your head moves to keep up with the car, but your eye just doesn't. Don't, whatever. Okay? This, again, is part of why you have a difficult time with choosing what it is that you want to do in your experience, because you get addicted to different forms of movement. And so you are constantly looking for where to go, direction. Okay, what would be the best course of action? For you, whenever someone says, what would be the best course of action for me? What they are really saying is, what would lead to the most movement in my experience? Let me repeat that for you, okay? When someone says, I'm looking for the quote unquote best course of action, what they are saying is they are looking for the most movement. If I pick that thing over there, I want to know that by the time I'm done with whatever that is, I will have whatever obtained goal there is, right? The thing that leads to most movement, right? Now, you may not perceive movement. Maybe today you perceive movement just a little bit differently than you have previously. But that's what you're looking for. If someone were to tell you that in order to make $1 million, all you had to do was sit still for 30 days and not move ever, period. Most people wouldn't be able to do it. No way. What? Are you kidding? 30 days sitting still, you make $1 million. Nope, wouldn't be able to do it. No matter how much willpower, fortitude, whatever. Because they'd be too worried about everything else. Wouldn't be able to do it. That's stillness. That's stillness. Most people wouldn't be able to do that. Now, I'm not saying that you need to do that. Okay. So don't go, oh my God, are you seriously telling me that? No, you don't. Okay. That's not what I'm saying at all. All I'm saying is that that would be, for most of us, impossible. Okay. Unless for some reason you were a monk that trained for 30 years. Then maybe not so much.
It's funny that monks do train to do that. Like you can't just sit down and do it because you won't be able to. You have to train. Well,
but no, you actually can do it. The thing is that you're having to unlearn a lot of the behaviors that you did. See, the thing is, you could do it now, but the reason that most people wouldn't be able to is because they look at what responsibilities they have and how are things going to get handled, and when do I shit, et cetera, et cetera. Like, oh, yeah, exactly. These are all things that come up that, you say, well, I got to sit here for 30 days. I'm going to be smelling like the worst. Okay, maybe.
priority over whatever you're sitting there to experience.
Right. So most of us would not be able to do this. Okay. And again, I'm not saying that it's necessary. I'm only pointing out stillness and movement. Okay.
Okay. Stimulation equals movement? Question mark.
What was that?
Stimulation equals
yes.
Movement? Question mark.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, Andrew.
Okay. The more stimulation, the thing that causes stimulation within us is what creates movement. Now, I'm going to talk about some invisible movement that you never notice. Okay. You'll notice it today. All right. But you never notice. It's invisible movement that is constantly going on no matter what happens in your experience. And by invisible, I mean you cannot see with the naked eye. All right. Or with a clothed eye. You can't see it with that either. All right. You cannot see it, but it is there. You experience it every single day. All right. So the invisible movement are your emotions. Well, it's energy emotion, right? So it's invisible. You don't see your emotions. No one has ever seen an emotion a day in their life, but it's invisible movement. Now, what did I just finish saying about being addicted to movement? What did I just finish saying about that? I said that we are addicted to movement. What we are not addicted to is stillness. We're addicted to movement. And if there isn't movement, we are going out of our way to create movement. Or when I say there isn't movement, I mean if we don't perceive there to be movement. As in within our senses. But our emotions are invisible movement. We experience it every day. Every single day, we experience this. But although we experience it every single day, it can go ignored a lot of the time. Now, I got this question. I was actually doing a mentorship in person on Thursday, and I got this question from the guy that came out here to visit me. And I thought that it was a fascinating question. The question was, what was the most impactful thing I have learned over the course of my 13 plus year journey now? Okay. And the answer that I gave him was that I realized after having gone through everything that I went through that none of it was necessary in the first place. By the time we're done here today, you will know why I said that. Okay. So now that we've gotten through all that, let's go through this board. So we want to start figuring out exactly what excites us, right? What gets you interested? Now, when I say excite, I don't mean the label that you give excitement. You're like, oh my God, I got all this huge rush of energy and then I feel like I can do anything. No, stop. Okay. That's not what I mean. When I say excite, I strictly mean your feelings. Okay. Anything that you feel feelings toward. Stop judging them as positive or negative. Put that over here. That isn't a thing. Get that the fuck out of here. Stop worrying about if it's good or it's bad or it's happy, sad. Get over that. Move past that. Okay?
Additionally, there's no high frequency emotion, no low frequency emotion. That just complicates shit.
Yeah, we're getting away from all that.
It's irrelevant.
Okay, we're getting away from all that. All right? I'm not saying there is or isn't high frequency, low frequency. I'm saying it doesn't matter for the points of this discussion. Okay? So, get away from the idea of labeling specific emotions what they are. Okay? So get away from the idea of something being happy or sad or this kind of other. Okay? Get away from this. Now, you may go, well, wait, why would I get away from that? Well, you are limiting your experience by labeling those feelings. Okay? Now, you may go, how am I doing this? Well, what did I say? We are addicted to movement. And we tend to be addicted to specific types of movement. or a specific method of movement. So here's an example of this. Let's say that you go to work and there's a particular route that you like to go. Well, if you have to go a different route, other than that, you may not necessarily enjoy that too much. You like going the consistent route that you've been going pretty much every day you've ever gone to work, right? You like that route, you're addicted to that route, so you continue to go that route. Does that make sense? Put it in the chat.
Predictable, it's easy. It's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, we don't want the variables. Okay, we stick to what's predictable. Predictable movement gives what you call the illusion of comfort. Well, I call the illusion of comfort, not you. Well, it is you, but it's me. Anyway, point is, the illusion of comfort. Okay? The illusion of comfort. You feel good about that particular thing, and so anything that obstructs that would, quote unquote, not feel as good or good at all. So if you're stuck having to go a different route, or you're stuck in traffic on that same route, or you're not even able to make it onto the road because your car stopped working, you start labeling all of these different things, right? When it's all the same. It's all the same in terms of the feelings. It's all the same. All right? So we want to get away from the idea of labeling each of these feelings, because quite frankly, you don't know which feeling is what anyway. You just go based on what you presume they are, the presumption of what those feelings are. They could be, right? This is what you do. Whoops. And I just erased part of that, but that's okay.
I took a screenshot earlier.
No, I remember what it says. It's fine. Okay. But okay. When you don't label the feelings, maybe, and if you're in our community, you may have experienced this already, but when you don't label the feelings, they tend to be a little bit more intense than when you do. Okay? When you label the feeling, it can even mute. Is it, oh, I'm happy. But then there's a question that always remains, right, when it comes to what we call positive feelings. How can I make this last? Or alternatively, nothing lasts forever. Right? Yeah. So when it comes to the negative feelings, we don't say that shit. We don't say, how can I make this last? Right? How can I make this misery last? This misery is going to last forever. Right? It's so funny that we say nothing lasts forever when it's positive, but when it's negative, we don't say that.
That's so true.
We don't say that. We don't go, oh, nothing lasts forever. When it's negative, when we perceive it to be negative. But when it's positive, no. Something has to go wrong.
That's like a dead giveaway for our priorities.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so interesting. It's like I said this in one of the classes, like nobody ever says, how can I be broke today? Like nobody ever says that. No one goes, how can I gain 600 pounds in 5 minutes? Nobody ever says that.
It's just the way it is.
Right.
I'm just stuck this way.
I'm just stuck this way. I am a victim of all these things. Right? Nobody ever says that. But when it comes to, oh, how do I become rich? Oh, okay. Right?
Then it's hard.
Then it's got to be hard. Well, how hard was it for you to be miserable? Let me answer that for you. It's very easy. It's so easy. You're a master. You're a fucking master at being miserable. Miserable, sad, those things. You are a master of it. No one ever goes, how do I become depressed? No. Right?
Yeah.
Nobody says that. Okay? Nobody says that. How can I exist in as much agony as possible? Mm-hmm. Nobody says this. You don't even think it. You don't go, oh, my pain won't last forever. No. What you say? When will this end? So wait, the positive stuff, how can I make it last or nothing lasts forever? The negative stuff, when will this end? Interesting dichotomy, right? See, the thing is, you're addicted to the negative, air quote, part of that. I need to make this last, nothing lasts forever. You're addicted to this. You love it. It's like taking a shot of your favorite drug. In this case, the drug is your own bullshit. Let me get a hit of that. Where's my hit of misery today? Right? So, now, here's the really, really cool news. Okay? The really cool news is that none of this has to be this really long, elongated, really ridiculous, hard process that you have to break through every single barrier in your experience in order to have what you want. Of course, you'll tell yourself that it does because you're addicted to having a process. That's called movement, right? When you have a process, there's movement. Then you have specific things that you can do. So what you're actually doing is you're creating reasons for movement. A couple of years ago, I was watching this episode of Star Trek. I love Star Trek. Okay. Star Trek Voyager, as a matter of fact. And there was a Catherine Janeway, the captain. Actually, I was telling this to Andrew yesterday, Andrew Stevens, in our mentorship call. But this character went to go through these spiritual trials, went and made it so hard for herself. And then the people in the episode are like, why did you make that so difficult? All you had to do was talk to these 3 people over here. And she went and suffered for days for no reason. For no reason. Just suffered for nothing. And I thought it was hilarious. This is exactly what we do.
I was just going to say, here come the questions. Well, how do I get rid of it? How do I stop? It's exactly what we do.
Yeah, this is what we do. Now, if you've been paying attention up to this point, I am telling you. All right? But this is what we do. We look for everything but what the actual answer is. We look for the answer that matches our misery. Let me repeat that for you. We look for the answers that match our misery. And in fact, we look for answers that match the emotional state that we perceive ourselves to be in. This is why I tell you, stop labeling your feelings. When you're miserable, you are looking for an answer that's going to help you stop being miserable, not solve the problem. You're not looking for a solution to the problem. You're looking for how to not be miserable anymore.
Playing the game to not lose versus playing the game to win.
Right. You are playing the not lose game. This means that you are playing defense and nothing but defense. You're doing everything possible to avoid getting hit. And never throwing a punch back. You are playing not to lose. What?
Now, Stacy laughing. Who's resonating right now? You look. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, we look for ways to avoid an experience, thus creating more of the experience.
What we're looking for is we're looking for solutions to what our tunnel vision shows us. So if our tunnel vision shows us that we're misery, we're looking for ways to not be miserable. We're not looking for a solution to the problem. Okay? In other words, we're treating symptoms. Okay? We're cutting the branches off the tree rather than cutting down the tree.
It's helpful to not label anything as a problem either.
Right.
No one has any real problems.
Right.
You just tell yourself you do. Yes, tunnel vision, back to the familiar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, every single time you do this, every single time, okay, that you look for answers within your tunnel vision, you always end up back in that position. Look at your own life. How often has that happened? Hey, I stopped being miserable. Oh my God, I'm miserable again. You get like, I don't know, a couple of days break, then you're back to misery. Something came up and you feel bad again.
Yes. Yes. It's making a quote, it's a comment. It's making sense more and more now that I'm responsible for all that happens to me and I can change it anytime I want to.
This is what you do. You run yourself in circles emotionally. You don't run yourself in circles in what we'll call the 3D physical space. Okay, you run yourself in circles in the one-dimensional emotional space. And you do this until you think you have found a solution. Well, the funny thing is, the solution to the problem is the thing that most people don't want to do. All right, so let's go back to the board. When I say excitement, I mean feelings. What do you get feelings about? It doesn't matter. If you get a feeling of fear, you get a feeling of happiness, sadness, depression, whatever the case is. Okay? You go all the way with it. All right? Now, if you're one of those people who identifies as multi-passionate but never actually get anything done, this is why. Because you are not looking at the present. You are looking at what you are going to do next. Okay. You are looking at what you're going to do. Well, if I do this, then what's next? Then if I do this, then what's the next thing after that? And then what's the next thing after that? And then you just never get anywhere. Okay, so you do one thing, then you trap yourself on that one thing. Well, I can't move on until I finish this, and then you don't even feel like finishing it, so you don't finish it, and then you just run around in circles some more.
Yeah. For me, in my experience, when I've kind of struggled to decide what to do, each option that I had also had an outcome that I was expecting. So I could write a screenplay because that'll get me into the film industry, or I could do some embroidery because then maybe, I don't know, I won't do anything with my life and I'll just have a bunch of fucking embroidery. Expectations.
You know, it's funny that you say that if I do a screenplay, that'll get me into the film industry, because if you wanted to get into the film industry, you would just walk into it.
Right.
But no one would do that. They think they got to go through this process, that they got to know specific people and all this other bullshit. Okay. Oh, I got to know the right people, because if I know the right people, then those right people will be able to put me in the right direction so that I can do this right. Right? Well, guess what? The right person is you. Always has been, always will be. You can take your ass to some movie premiere, production, whatever, and start meeting people there. No, people go and take the long road. Oh, I got to go write a screenplay. Oh, you don't have to do any of that shit. Okay, none of it. When I started negotiation, I didn't go, oh, well, let me work with these people. Let me go ahead and get connections for so-and-so. No, I walked in and kicked in the fucking door. I was like, yo, I'm not starting at the bottom. I'm starting at the top of the food chain. All right? All this process shit is a waste of energy. All right? And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that after I get through this. And how you formulate processes that actually limit you more than help you. All right? So as I said, don't distinguish between the different types of feelings that you get. If you get a feeling of fear when it comes to something, any feeling whatsoever, okay, any feeling whatsoever, you should be paying attention to it. Don't let your brain enter it. Your brain has nothing to do with your feelings. Okay, nothing to do with your emotions. All right? What I want you to do is think of it like when you're driving a car. All right? When you're driving a car, Your car performs multiple functions. Okay? It accelerates, it decelerates. You turn different directions. It houses you inside of it, etc., etc. Your car has multiple functions. But whenever you initiate one of these functions, you are engaging a different feeling. So for example, for you to stop your car is a different feeling than accelerating, right?
Not better, not worse.
It's not better or worse. It's just different. Okay? For the wind to blow and hit you while you're driving is a different feeling than when the windows are up and the wind's not hitting you, right? Different experience. Okay? Different. But inevitably, when it comes to your car, if you're actually driving, the main motions or movements that you are engaged in is the car accelerating, you backing up the car, you turning left, turning right, or stopping. Those are your core movements with your vehicle. Almost sounds like the core movements you do with your body, right? And in every single thing else that you experience. Those are the core movements. Now, eventually, you're going to get to a place where you turn a different direction. That's a different feeling, right? Different feeling. And that different feeling, okay, is what we engage in order to have a different experience. Does this make sense so far?
Who's following? Yep. You're not going to put your car in reverse to go forward.
Nope. Although, anyway, you know, it's funny, whoever said that, it's funny you say that.
I said that.
Okay, now, you said that, that's funny you say that. Because that's what everyone fucking does.
They put their car in reverse.
They put their car in reverse to move forward.
That's playing not to lose.
Yes, that's playing not to lose. That's exactly what you're doing. When you play not to lose, you are attempting to drive forward with your car in reverse.
Oh, if I turn and look through the back window, technically I'm going forward.
No, you're still going backwards.
Yeah.
Okay? Playing not to lose can also be attributed to safety.
Yes.
Okay? When you play not to lose, you're doing your absolute best to remain safe as possible. This means, this is why people have backup plans. They have stocks and bonds and savings accounts and all of that shit because they're absolutely terrified of, you know, actually allowing themselves to experience freedom. So they create prisons for themselves to exist in while saying they want to be free, right? In fact, this is the same thing. This is, you're driving in reverse instead of hitting the gas.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
When hitting the gas really ain't that bad. Okay? You ever been in a car with someone who has never really known how to drive? What do? They start the car and they stop moving. They start and stop. They're terrified. Absolutely terrified. At least that's been my experience with people who get in cars who don't know how to drive. Okay? They start and stop. They go, oh my God, I want to make sure I do this right. And they just sit there and start and stop forever. And it's like the bumpiest ride that there ever could be. Because it is constant starting and stopping. This is you.
Fear. Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, you can call it fear. I call it bullshit.
Bullshit. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, fear is bullshit.
Yeah, right. Right. But sure, fear, right? Now, it's funny because I just said, stop labeling these types of feelings.
Oh, yeah.
Stop labeling these types of feelings. It's just a feeling. Okay? Now, the inevitable question of why do we label these things? Because we like having a point of reference for ourselves to remain limited. We like labeling things because we love having a mutual point of reference that keeps us limited. And when I say mutual point of reference, I'm referring to what we consider to be other people. Here's a question. What does happiness feel like to you? Put it in the chat. I'm curious.
Feel feelings to experience something different. What does happiness feel like to you? Or at least what you would label happiness.
Yeah, what you would label it.
Being present.
Okay.
I'm sure people are like racking their brains.
Oh, yeah.
What does happiness feel like? Bubbles?
Bubbles.
Bubbles. Ooh, like, I don't know anymore. Andrew. Embracing the unknown. Okay, Nora, I'm sensing bullshit.
Yeah, I'm smelling some bullshit. Waft of bullshit.
Obligation free, contentment, peaceful, I don't know. Not craving anything else. Existing in peace and having whatever I want.
That sounds okay.
Light, thrilling, doing whatever I want whenever I want.
All right.
Definitely a trick question.
Who said that?
Caroline.
Yeah, see, Caroline been around a lot. She's been around a lot. It is a trick question.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, she's been around a minute. All right. See, I ask these questions because I just assume that every question I ask is a trick question. Okay. So based on all, you see how everyone has a different answer for what happiness is to them? Everyone has a completely different answer. If that were the case, is there a universal definition for the word happiness?
No.
No, there's no universal definition for the word because everyone has their own definition, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone has their own definition. Now, that's not to say any of your definitions are wrong. Those are the definitions for you. Okay? But there is no universal definition for the word. Yet, if you were to experience happiness, it would be through the definitions you just gave. Do you see why now I say stop labeling this? Stop labeling it. Because there is no universal way of knowing what happiness is.
It's the definitions that create the tunnel vision.
Yes.
So if you're looking for happiness and you describe it as, for example, I don't know, whatever, being free of obligation, you're going to look around and see a lot of fucking obligations.
Oh, yeah.
And not feel very happy. And then you're not happy. Yeah. The tunnel vision. You use other feelings to describe the feeling. Yeah, that's confusing in itself.
Yeah, it is. You see how you keep yourself running in circles? It's pretty fucking brilliant.
What if happiness is just happiness?
What if it was? How would you know? Okay? Now, just whenever feeling comes up, just allow yourself to experience not only the feeling or whatever comes with it, because you never know what will happen. Okay? Now, stop worrying about the next thing you're going to do. Stop worrying about that. Okay? Because if you're worried about the next thing you're going to do, you're worried about what? You're worried about the future. You are not paying attention to the present. So if you're not paying attention to the present, of course you'll get nothing done. All right? Let's move on to the next thing. Allow what?
No, I was just going to say you can't take action in the future.
No, it's not possible.
You can only take action in the present. But if you're focused on the future, you're not taking any action.
Right. So, next thing, allow yourself to run out of this excitement. This is a linchpin for so many of us. We think that whatever we do, we have to make last forever. This is a trick. This is how you are fucking yourself up. Okay, you are beating the ever-loving shit out of yourself on a regular basis because you are thinking that you have to make it last forever, that you need to be consistent when it comes to the things you want to do. Now, let me tell you one thing about us and about what we refer to as human beings. We are notoriously inconsistent, okay? We can't stick to shit. And every single thing that we do, we change our minds all the time. Okay, we do. We change our minds all the time. Hey, we like this person one day, the next day we want to break their neck. Okay, we change our minds all the fucking time. And then we punish ourselves for doing it. We punish ourselves. We go, oh, wait, whoa, 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 whoa. I can't change my mind. I had a commitment. I made a commitment to this. I have to follow it all the way through. Now, this is contrary to a lot of the things that you've been told. You've been told to be consistent, be disciplined, focus, etc., etc. Okay, you've been told to do that. And you have been told to ride that wave. Force yourself to do it, no matter what happens. That's what you've been told, right? But that goes against the very nature of who you are. That goes against the very nature of who you are. How much do you beat yourself up for not being consistent? How much do you beat yourself up for not, quote unquote, finding the right direction to go? How much do you beat yourself up for not being smart enough, not having enough information, not blah, 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 blah? How much do you do this? Put it in the chat.
Oh, yeah. So it's really funny because, like, if we take exercise, for example, people will go to the gym because they are like, I'm going to exercise at the gym. And then that's all they do. And then they wonder why it's not fun.
Right.
Well, maybe because you haven't tried anything else. Maybe the gym is just not for you.
Maybe the gym's not for you.
But you think you have to be consistent. So you keep doing the same thing. And then you wonder why you're not enjoying it.
Right.
All day, every day, often, all the time. Like getting married and living happily ever after.
Yeah. Which is complete BS, by the way. Right? You know how many people get married and then they sit there, oh, we want to try to make it work. And then sit there and be like, oh, my relationship is falling apart. It's just not working out. Of course it isn't. Okay? Because you're trying to make it work.
Yep.
We beat ourselves up so much because we think that we have to force these things to work out. And we do not give ourselves the luxury, which you already have, by the way, the luxury of changing your mind. You change your mind, I'll tell you why. I'll make it really simple for you. You change your mind because you want to do different shit. You don't want to do the same thing over and over. That's fucking boring. Right? You change your mind because you want to do different shit. This was something it took, and I'll admit, this took me some time to get. Because when I was with my mentor, and I would see the way him and his wife engaged, okay, I'm gonna get a little raunchy right here. All right, I'm about to tell y'all some shit about my mentor. Okay, now you may have heard the story, maybe you haven't, but my mentor and his wife were very open people. All right, so open that it puzzled the fuck out of me. I was there for a couple of days. All right, just a few days. They had been together at that point for about 3 years. Okay, his wife comes into the kitchen while me and him are sitting there. And she goes, hey, I'm going to go out and blow someone. I'll be back later. And he's like, all right, see you later.
Have fun.
Have fun. I was puzzled beyond belief. I was like, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Like, now, mind you, this was 13 years ago. All right. But I was like, I'm sorry, what? All right. Like, I'm just going to do that. Right? She came back about 45 minutes, an hour later. She talks about what she did. Right there in front of him.
Wiping her mouth off.
Wiping her mouth off and everything. And he's like, oh, hell yeah. High five. I was fucked up for the rest of the day. Fucked up. I couldn't believe it. Now, am I saying you need to do this? No. Okay. I'm just saying that this is the type of shit that I would see. Now I'd be like, what the fuck is this? But I tell you what, all right, that woman loved Peter more than anything. I talked to her just yesterday. We talk about him all the time. They loved each other so fucking much because I don't even know why. They just did. Okay? They just did. And this is the quintessential definition of people changing their minds. Hey, you know what? We did the whole monogamous thing, but can we do something else? Okay. And that was it. That was the conversation. At least that's the conversation they told me. Now, again, am I saying that you need to do this? No. I'm just giving an example. People change their minds all the fucking time. All the time. You change your mind what type of career you want to be in. You go, hey, I want to be a veterinarian. Then you go, you know what? I'd rather play basketball instead. You change your mind all the time. We just don't give ourselves the opportunities to express or explore that. Yes.
Charlotte said, I thought you were going to say that woman loves penis, not penis.
Clearly she did that too.
She did that too.
Yeah, she loved the fuck out of that. Right?
The topic for people who just popped on, we just got a couple, is how to select what you'd like to experience and not like have a bunch of ideas but do nothing.
Yeah, because this happens very often.
Yes.
If you've somehow missed a large portion of this, you can always check out the recording. Recording will be there. But anyway, people change their minds all the time. All the time. Things are fleeting. Everything in your experience is fleeting. Every feeling that you have is fleeting. What's happening is you're fighting to hold on to them. Let me repeat that. Every feeling that you have, you are fighting to hold on to them. Rather than experience them and let them go.
Yeah, how? There is a how word in our question here. It's more of like an explanation.
Excuse me?
Now people are pointing out how.
I already told you, but if you're new, I'll explain it to you.
No. I mean, like, we always say, don't ask how. But
Oh, yeah.
How is in the, yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Never mind, forget it.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm saying how for them.
Yeah.
Or, well, for me, so that we know what we're talking about. Anyway, whatever. Okay.
Try not to lose shit.
We're doing our best to not lose the feeling. So we delay it. We stall. We hold on to it. Or we nitpick. We start looking for flaws where there are none. So we can hold on. Yes?
No, keep going.
Okay.
I just had a comment.
So that we can hold on to what we think we know. Go ahead.
So monogamy is a perfect example of this. Why are we monogamous? That's weird. Because we're trying to avoid the experience of potentially losing our partner to someone else.
Right.
We're avoiding the feeling of vulnerability or whatever. I mean, that's a label.
Right.
But we wonder why we're not happy in our relationships.
Yep.
Because it's literally the relationship, a monogamous relationship, is built around avoiding feelings.
You know what? I agree with that.
And then you wonder why you're miserable.
Then you wonder why you're miserable. Right? Now, allow yourself the opportunity to just change your mind. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't come back to that particular thing. This actually, I'll use myself as an example. A couple of months ago, about 5 months ago, I walked away from negotiations. I was like, you know what, I just want to put my energy into teaching phase 2. I don't really want to go out of my way to try to juggle the two. So I walked away from negotiations, right? But about just under a month ago, I came back because 1, I got the desire to do so, and 2, I got to set my parameters for how I would engage in negotiations, right? Whereas instead of me taking a bunch of deals and just sitting there working with as many of them, I said, I'll come back doing 1 deal a month and I get to choose a deal. That's it. And so after doing that, boom. But I got to change my mind. I leave, I come back. I leave, I come back. I leave, I come back. I can do that as many times as I want. I don't have to stick to shit. If I decide, hey, I don't want to do any deals, I can just be like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to do none, and leave and feel no remorse, none whatsoever, because I have that kind of freedom. I have the freedom to come and go as I please.
Oh,
yes.
That's weird.
What?
It looks like we have a limitation on how long we can stream on Instagram.
Oh.
All right, we'll just start over.
Okay, well, whatever. So, I'm going to continue despite that. When the excitement is gone, when all of the emotion connected to what you're doing is gone, that you got it out of your system. Maybe you've heard that phrase before. Just get it out of your system, right? Just get it out of your system. I won't mention any names, but someone had reached out to me about wanting to do, she wanted to do, I won't say it specifically, but she wanted to do something that she felt limited in doing, right? And I was like, just go do it. And she said, well, no, I can't do that. I was like, yes, you can. Go ahead. Go do it. So she goes and does it. Feels great about doing it, but the desire to do it just left because she just went and did it, got it out of her system. Right? Now, she knows that she can go back and do it. She knows that she can do that. But the same level of discomfort and this and it won't be there because you already went through it. You just went and did it. You had a good time. You moved on. Whatever that is. All right? So, it is time to expand. Let's go over it again. When the excitement, the feelings are gone, it's time to evolve. That is your evolution. Okay? When we get bored, this is that time. Let me say that again. When you get bored in your experience, that is the time that you grow and expand. Okay? That is the time. Because the moment that you get bored, you're not feeling much of anything, right? Right. You're not feeling much of anything. Period. All right? So, now here's what I want you, from this point forward, here's how I want you to look at your feelings and your emotions, okay? I want you to look at this. I want you to look at this very carefully, all right? Your feelings are the gatekeepers to your experience. Let me repeat that. Your feelings are the gatekeepers to your experience. The more that you explore your feelings, the more that you unlock in your experience. Okay? So you get that thing that terrifies you. That thing that absolutely scares the living shit out of you. You look it in the face, you experience that fear, and then you kill it. And you kill it by experiencing it. In the moment, and you only have to do this once. You don't have to do this 10 times. Only once. Only one time. You don't have to practice this. This is nothing to practice. All right? You don't have to flex your emotional muscle. Get some emotional weights and start lifting them. You don't have to do that. Okay? If you've ever seen a gate, sometimes there's a passcode, sometimes you can just hop. Case is. But once you hop over the gate, you're not worried about the gate no more, right? You only do it once. Same thing here. Your feelings are the gate. Is the gatekeeper to your experience, right? And the more you explore them and experience them, the more you'll be able to expand. Now, this can be really difficult for us to do on our own. Let me repeat that. This can be really difficult for us to do on our own. The amount of times that people come to me with this bullshit of, oh, I'm just going to figure out how to do it on my own is absolutely ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It's not designed for you to do it on your own. If it were, you wouldn't have this problem now, would you? No. The amount of times that people think that they can do this on their own, this journey, this whole self-expression, expansion, whatever you want to call it, they can do this on their own, they are absolutely out of their mind. I have never, ever seen anyone who could do it on their own. And I have met hundreds of people that have gone on this journey, and not one of them have done it on their own. They'll say, I had a best friend that was willing to work with me on it. I had a mentor. 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 Are you noticing something here? They had someone help push them through it. Good.
Recently, and I posted about this on Instagram, but recently you and I had a little bit of a chat, and you said to me point blank, you're bitter, you're resentful, and you're jealous. And that was so necessary for me to hear. That was almost like a mentorship kind of experience, because I realized, yes, I was feeling that way, and no, I wasn't sitting with it. It was like I knew they were there, but it didn't occur to me to acknowledge it. And that's, people do that all the fucking time. You're jealous, or you know that you're sad, or you know that you're angry, or whatever feeling you want to label. But what you don't do is sit with it until someone is like, hey, this is what you keep fucking doing.
Right.
Why do you keep doing this? I don't know. I don't know. Stop doing it.
You can sit here and tell yourself that you can do this on your own as much as you want. Okay? But congratulations on getting nowhere. Stop trying to do everything on your own. It's not designed that way. You cannot perceive yourself. Let me repeat that for you. You cannot perceive yourself. You can only define yourself.
And thus limit.
And thus limit yourself. You cannot perceive yourself. You cannot see your own eyes. You cannot smell your own nose. You cannot taste your own tongue. You cannot hear your own ears, etc., etc. You cannot perceive yourself. You can't. I don't care how hard you try. Now, I know that there are some smart asses that be like, well, what about a mirror? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, if every person in your experience is a mirror, let's see. If every person in your experience is a mirror, let's put on our super sleuth hats. That would mean that you would require the other in order to perceive yourself, right? You wouldn't be able to do it on your own. In this particular case, the other aspect of yourself. If you think you can do this on your own, where does that arrogance come from? Where does that come from? Your pride?
Fear of losing something?
Yeah. Fear of getting your feelings hurt? Fear of loss? Where does that arrogance come from? You've never done anything on your own in your life. Your entire life. No matter what you did. So where does that arrogance come from?
The representative.
Yeah. The representative. You didn't build a game to play it by yourself. What's the point of that?
Can you imagine playing Cards Against Humanity
by yourself? Imagine that, right?
Oh, these are really funny. Oh, wow. I'm really lonely.
Yeah. Playing cards, yeah, that's a great example. Imagine playing Cards Against Humanity by yourself.
Would you mind stepping to the side for a second so people can screenshot the board? Yeah, there you go. All right, take a picture. Go ahead. There you go. Awesome. The Lone Wolf Act comes to a close sooner rather than later. Yeah, sooner than never. Lone Wolf dies. The pack survives. All right, you're good.
All right. You did not design a game to play it by yourself. Why would you do that? If that was the case, you would have never needed to hop into this show that you call your body. You wouldn't even need to be here. You could just be like, yo, man, I'm just going to play by myself, man. You didn't design a game to play it by yourself. You did it so that you could play with others. So you can have fun and enjoy it and expand and then level up and then all those other things. Get a piece of the Triforce, whatever.
The Triforce?
Yeah, it's from Zelda. Anyway.
Yeah, okay. It's almost like needing help or needing mentorship and someone to support you on your journey is a built-in way of finding people who are going through the journey with you.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Okay, that's exactly what it is. You created people to help you. Now, the genius in your design is that you actually convince yourself they can't. That's actually brilliant. That they actually can't help you. No. I tell you this. I had this message. I thought it was great. I had a woman send me a message the other day telling me like you.
Oh, she was mad.
She was mad.
She was mad.
She was mad. Right? I could never be like you. I said, good, be like you. You shouldn't want to be like me. You should be like you, whatever that is. You're so rude and abrasive and disrespectful and this, that, and other. And selfish. And I said, thank you. Thank you. Of course, she didn't have anything to say after that. Of course, I said, well, if you felt the need to point all that out and you say that you couldn't be like me, let me bring something to your attention, right? Wouldn't that be selfish of you? Because you'd be focusing on yourself, right? To not be like me? That's selfish, right? Of course, no answer. Brilliant. I enjoyed that engagement so much. I could never be like you. Perfect. Because you shouldn't. Nothing like me to be like in the first place. Shouldn't even be worried about me. To be worried about you. But I thought it was brilliant. I was like, this is amazing. I could never be like you. Perfect. So, here's the thing, all right? Now, earlier I said that I was going to go through the process of how you limit yourself. Okay?
Being selfish is the only way to live. Yes. Oh, no one can help me. I'm so unhelpable.
See, whoever said you're brilliant.
Felicia.
Brilliant! Brilliant!
Lost cause.
Doing it on your own is a surefire way to Misery Town. Now, I know some of you like going there. Some people have taken up permanent residence. Other people are just visiting. All right? Well, just to let you know, I am your tour guide out of Misery Town. So should you want to leave, you can hop on the train. Okay? Now, if you want to stay, that's okay too. Okay too. There's nothing wrong with Misery Town. They have cookies. They have cookies. Okay. Let's talk about process. Okay. The process of analysis paralysis that we put ourselves in that we can't escape. All right. The eternal loop. All right. So we get an idea. Okay. So first thing is we get an idea. So I'll walk through it with you. Let's say I get the idea that I want to go ride a horse. Okay, I want to ride a horse. All right. Then I go, all right, where can I ride a horse? So, I can find a ranch or something like that, but we start to conceptualize it. We started to conceptualize it. We started going, all right, what's the nearest place to me that I can go find riding a horse or whatever the case is, right? Conceptualize. Now, at this point, we haven't put it into the 3D world yet. So we're going to say this is the one-dimensional world. And this isn't actually one-dimensional. We're just saying it for the sake of mutual understanding for our discussion, that things get here in a one-dimensional world. There's an idea. So this is where your feeling comes in. And then this is thought. Okay? So your feeling into your thought. Now, this is the 3D. All right? And this is going to be the reflected experience. Okay? By reflected experience, I mean that when we're looking at it with our eyes and we see it out there in what you consider to be the world, that we can actually see that thing taking place. So, horse, where I go, me going to the horse place to ride a horse. Okay?
Horse place. Horse place.
The horse place. Wherever it is. It could be a ranch, it could be a park, it could be anything. But the horse place. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Put in the chat. Does this make sense?
Yes. Well, chat.
Okay, remember. Idea, feelings, thought, three-dimensional, pops out. Okay, I'm going to have experience. Horse place.
Patricia. This is the sequence of events that everyone is familiar with.
Yeah. Okay. This is what you do. You do this already. You do this all the time.
Yes.
Okay. This is the sequence of events of how to talk yourself out of an experience. Okay. This is how you talk yourself out of an experience. This right here. This process. Now, I could make this more complicated because there are a couple of more steps, but we won't. We'll keep it simple. Okay.
It's funny because people would think this is how you have an experience.
Right.
But this is actually how you talk yourself out.
This is how you talk yourself out of it. Now, let's see if you guys can figure this out. At what point do you talk yourself out of the experience?
We'll wait.
Can you have my water over there?
Oh, my little legs. You gonna throw it on yourself again?
Hey, maybe.
At what point in this sequence of events do you talk yourself out? Conceptualization, when you think of it, when you start planning at the concept. As soon as you label it. Is it feeling first and then the idea?
Yes. Well, no, it's feeling. Feeling and the idea are simultaneous. I'm just saying, I put feeling here because, okay, we'll do this. There. So.
You might say, I feel like doing this.
Yes.
I have the idea to do this.
Right.
Okay, yes. When you think about how much it's going to cost, when you think you have to do it, as soon as you place an expected outcome before you even start. As soon as you label it, once you imagine what it will be like, when you start trying to figure out how, thought, when you want it to work out, lots of answers. Okay, I love it. All right. So, many of you right here, conceptualize. Okay? Now, everything that you guys said is correct, and everything that you said actually fits right here in conceptualization. Yeah, let's list it. Well, you think about the cost. Hold on. No, go ahead. All right. I'm getting excited. Hold on. I'm so excited. I'll let you say that, but let me finish what I was going to say. So, at the conceptualization stage, this is where all your energy goes. Go. Where does all your energy go? Like you all listed. How much is it going to cost? How long is it going to take me to get there? Do I have enough gas in my car? Do I want to bring anyone with me? Can I go by myself? All this shit.
I'm going to simplify everything that she just said and say considerations.
Considerations. Notice all the con words here.
Okay. Con, to deceive.
Concept, consider. When you want it to work out. Yeah.
Okay. When you start getting to the consideration, all these different things, you are actively talking yourself out of it. But this isn't necessarily enough. This right here is not enough. The conceptualizing part of this is not enough to make sure that it does not pop into your experience. Okay, I've left one very important thing out of here because it's the step between it hitting the 3D world and the conceptualization. But that thing alone is the thing that will shut it down before it ever happens. Okay, now all your energy goes here in the conceptualization stage, right? And how much of your energy you put there? All of it. Okay, all of it. And the moment that you do that, what do you experience? And you're fucking exhausted.
I don't feel like doing it anymore.
I don't feel like doing it anymore. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do this. But we know tomorrow never comes, right? I'll do it tomorrow. I'm so tired. Oh, let's see how I feel about it later. Or like all this shit, right? All this. Yes?
I think I would like to, and you could feel free to say whatever about this. We set this up for ourselves to experience. In that, we created the conceptualization phase to limit ourselves from having experiences. It's not like this is an accident. It's not like we're a victim of this. Our brain isn't fucking us up. We were literally like, how can we stop ourselves from creating things and finding out that we're unlimited and everything's an illusion?
Yeah, I agree. That's what we did. We created these models to limit ourselves as much as possible. And I am facilitating the experience for you to stop doing it.
You're not a victim of this.
You're not a victim of this.
You did this yourself.
Okay.
Fun of it.
You created it. Okay. You created it, but this is what you did. And I know this is what you did because this is what you're experiencing on a day-to-day basis. This is what you're experiencing all the time. You have an idea. You go, oh, that's a stupid idea. I can't do that. Then you go talk to Becky. Oh, Becky, what do you think? And Becky's like, that's a dumb idea. You shouldn't do that. And you're like, oh, well, Becky said it was dumb. And Becky's smarter than me. So because Becky's smarter than me, I can't do it. And because I can't, okay. And then you don't do anything. Then nothing happens.
What were we saying about being, quote, multi-passionate?
Yeah, right.
Oh.
This is how you enter analysis paralysis.
Fuck Becky.
Fucking Becky always ruining my shit.
Oh, we're a victim of Becky now? Yeah.
Becky is our mortal enemy. Burn her at the stake.
Becky is you.
Okay, burn me at the stake.
So freaking true.
But by the time you've sat here and thought about all the different contingencies and considerations, you're exhausted. Now, let me tell you something. This may be like a real punch to the gut. You know when you really kill it? Where that thing is not going to happen? You are not going to do the thing. The idea that you came up with. The thing that you thought was so brilliant that you're like, never mind.
This is a question that's coming up a little bit. Where does intuition come into this? And I know what the answer is, but think about it. Come on, guys.
Can I?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what to do, my friend.
What?
People are like, oh, Sam's input is the best part of the streams. And then I'm like, streaming, whatever, it's fine.
Oh, no, you're welcome to say what you're going to say. I just was on a point.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So, the point in which you get to the point where this isn't going to happen is when you talked about it.
Yes, Felicia.
Is when you talked about it. The moment that you start discussing it is the moment you killed it. How many times have you come up with an idea, you went to someone else, you started talking about it, and then you started having doubts? And you started having doubts. How many times?
You need it to make sense.
Yeah, it's got to make sense. That's what this is here. Make sense.
Yes, Andrew. Talking yourself out of things is seeking validation.
Yep. You either get validation or you get the experience. You don't get both.
Yes. Do what you feel inspired to do, because why is there even a need to discuss it?
There's nothing to talk about.
You can talk about it after you do it.
Yeah. I mean, even then you don't have to talk about it.
No, but that's sharing your experience with the world. It's not necessary.
Now, we got this question about intuition. Where does intuition fall into this? Well, this is where your intuition was. Yeah. The feeling and idea. Your intuition was like, hey, this will be fun. Let's do this. Let's get it. And your representative was like, whoa, hold on. We got a lot of things to consider before we do that.
Yes, asking permission to bring it to life. Yeah, even the word confirmation, like getting confirmation that you should move forward with something, is a con word.
Yep, confirmation.
So you conceptualize, what does that say? The second one?
That's considerations, yeah.
And then confirmation. All con words. Yep. They all fall under the thought section.
Then you look for consequences.
Consequences.
Okay, which is a series of events that is designed to deceive you in the way that the story actually goes. Okay? Get it? Because sequence means series of events and con means to deceive, so a deceptive turn of events.
Can you take some questions right now? There's 2 questions. All right. First question. Wait, but how do you ask for help if you refuse to talk about what you feel like doing?
I don't understand the question.
If I understand correctly, Anita, the question is about, let's say you think you need someone's help for something. How do you ask for someone's help without talking about what you want to do?
Can you help me?
There you go. Yeah, and the other person, it's on them to feel whether they want to help you or not.
Right. I know that needed to be more complicated.
Can you help me?
Can you help me?
And then Sergio asks, how is it that some people say what they're going to do and then do it as they said? Sheer will?
No.
Who knows?
Sergio, I'm going to answer that question in a moment because I'm going to talk about how to skip this part of this process. Okay? So, I like the question though. Any other questions?
If people around you are you, then if you ask them and you don't like the answer, is it because a part of you doesn't think you can do it or doesn't deserve you shouldn't do it?
I don't understand the question.
Okay. If the people around you are you and you ask them about what you're going to do and you don't like the answer they give you, is it because a part of you doesn't think you can do it or doesn't think you deserve it?
Or maybe the people that you're looking to ask to help you do it aren't the people who are meant to help you with it.
Maybe you just shouldn't have asked in the first place. You're asking about seeking validation.
Yeah, this is all you're doing. Okay. You know what? And actually, I'm gonna tell a story. Okay. So a long time ago, I used to play fighting games, and I had a student he was like this prodigy. Okay. And he was really, really, really good. And his dad hired me to teach him how to get better so he could play on a competitive level, right? So he could go to tournaments and he could start running roughshod on people and this, that, and other, right? Now, the thing is, that kid didn't go out of his way to seek me as a mentor. He didn't go out of his way. His dad came to me, but the kid did not, all right? And at first, I actually declined it. I said, no, I'm not interested. But then I saw the kid play, and I was inspired. I was inspired. And I saw him play. I was like, oh, yeah, I want to teach this kid. I'm watching him get 20, 30 game win streaks on people who've been playing games for years. And at the time, he was, 13, 14 years old. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to teach him. This was many years ago. The thing is that when you need help, when you really need it, you never have to ask because it'll just show up. I didn't ask for Peter to be my mentor. He completely volunteered for that role. There are people that I have worked with up until this point that just wanted originally to start working with me as, okay, let's just get over some of the limitations. But when it came to actually long-term mentorship, it was me who went to them and was inspired to say, I would like to do this.
When the student is ready,
the teacher appears. Okay?
Yes, Empire Ron.
And I'll know. The thing is, you don't need to know. Okay? Let the mentor find you. But you also do have the ability to make sure that the mentor knows you exist. Because otherwise...
I mean, if the mentor doesn't know you exist, you don't know you exist.
Right. You don't even know you exist.
The mentor is you.
Right. So you don't even need to ask. It's not necessary. Of course, you can. And that doesn't mean you're going to get a favorable answer. Of course, if you're judging it as favorable or unfavorable, you're already fucking up. All right?
Yeah.
You're already limiting yourself. You know, I've had, and I will tell you this, I've had several people reach out to me for being their mentor. But when it comes to pulling the trigger, they always squeamish and run away. Right? Which only tells me they never actually wanted that. What they liked was that in-between space. They liked being able to go for it, but then be able to run away when the opportunity presents itself. That's what many of us do. And wait a second. That's this. That in-between space, right here.
Oh, yeah.
You love living in that in-between space. But when it comes time to actually do it, you run away. Chicken. Chicken. Scared out of your mind.
Guilty. Consequences. Consideration.
I love when people are like, hey, I want to be free, but I'm a slave to this. So can I stay a slave to this while working towards my freedom? Excuse me. Are you paying attention to yourself? Oh, the answer is no.
I feel like I just got stabbed in the throat. Oh my God. Damn. Yeah.
People be talking all kinds of game. Oh yeah, I'll do this. I even told someone asked me to mentor them. I told them that all you had to do, I will mentor you. All you have to do is get to the retreat. You get to my retreat, I'll mentor you. Do you think that person did that? No.
Nope.
No. They came up with bullshit excuses.
Fear of losing things.
Yep. I said, all you have to do is get to my retreat. I will mentor you. They couldn't even do that.
Yeah. What changed your mind about mentoring the kid? Did you believe you'd enjoy it since he was advanced?
No. It was that I was inspired by watching him. That's it. I got a rush of feeling from watching him. When his dad came up to me, I was like, yeah, whatever. But when I saw him, I was like, oh, yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've got a couple people talking about how they were freaking out about joining the Wealth Accelerator, but they pulled the trigger.
Yeah. Those people.
Josh, congratulations. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Yes, that's why we focus on multiple things to avoid what's really going on.
Yeah.
There's a question. Oh, you were going to talk about from Diana. You said, how do you deal with the thoughts? You were going
Yeah. I was going to go into that.
Yeah.
All right. So, I think we got this all here. So let's go ahead and get rid of this.
You've got your intuitive feeling, your idea.
Okay.
How do you avoid talking yourself out of it? Of course, that's a how question, but
yeah, well, whatever.
For the sake of communication.
This is just for communication. Hey, I can tell you how without you asking for it, right? You know how this isn't a question, right? I mean, it is, but whatever. It is, but it's not.
Stop.
It is, but it's not, right? Anyway, that's why I'm here. I'm here to run you in circles too. Anyway, so you get your idea, right? And then we're going to put 3D over here.
Experience.
Okay, so we're going to say 3D experience. All right. Now, whenever you get the feeling, and you sit with this, and by sit with, I mean focus or whatever you want to call it. I usually refer to like meditation. For me, I meditate. It doesn't have to be that way for you. For you, it could be listening to, music without words. I usually recommend that, like listening to instrumentals versus listening to lyrics, because lyrics will get in your head and But like, so you can listen to music, anything that causes feeling or allows you to experience your feelings, right? So for me, I like to do meditation, right? So I get the feeling, I meditate. After I meditate, boom. I just go to it. I don't think about it. That's how the retreat came about. That's how quantum networking came about. That's how quantum cash came about. That's how the community came about. That's how everything that has happened up to this point has come up. How I got into negotiations, how I got into sales, how I got into blah, 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 blah. I meditated. I sat with my feelings. Okay. Now, I'm not saying you got to do this for years. Okay. It's not the point. Why do you do this for years? Minutes. What?
So you're talking about a feeling comes up during your normal day-to-day experience,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, "Oh, that's interesting. That's an idea." And then you sit down.
I sit with it right there.
Feel the feeling.
Right then and there.
It can also work in that you are already sitting and a feeling comes up for you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. To me, it's non-negotiable. I could be watching a movie or playing a game or having a conversation with someone or whatever the case is. I get hit with a feeling, you're not talking to me.
We're done.
We're done. Okay. I'm sitting with this. I don't give a fuck what you have to say. All right. Yes.
And this is also why I emphasize so strongly that you need to slow down.
Slow down.
Because if you're running around thinking about what you're going to do next, guess what you're not doing? Noticing feelings that come up. Slow down. Now,
you may go, well, why meditate? Why listen to music? Why pause? Why this, that, and the other? Right? Because that feeling that you're getting is energy. It's emotion. Energy and motion, right? That's emotions. Energy and motion. So you are allowing yourself to experience the energy so that you can then use that energy to perform whatever it was going to be.
To create the illusion.
To create whatever this is. Now, your thoughts never play a role. They don't come up. In fact, something that I do now that I actually got from my mentor was every hour sometimes he wouldn't do this, but whenever a feeling hit him, he'd be like, don't talk to me. 10 minutes. He was by himself. 10 minutes. Sometimes it'd be less, maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever. But do not talk to him during that time. He's not interested in anything you have to say. He feels it out. Then the next thing he's doing is the thing he felt. That's it. Period. There's nothing else. There's no thought. There is, okay. And the way he looked at it was this. And this is the same way I look at it. I am being given energy to create this experience. I am being given energy to create this experience. Yes.
So like we were talking about earlier, and this ties into the slowing down thing and feeling the feeling that comes up for you. If you feel a feeling and then suddenly you're thinking about it and considering it, what you're doing is using that energy to create the thoughts and the consideration.
Right.
You're burning it. You're wasting it. But slowing down enough to feel the feeling and sit with the feeling without thinking about it moves you into the creation of the experience. Just slow down, basically, is what I'm saying. Yes.
I am being given energy to create this experience. Now, if you spend that energy conceptualizing the experience, then you didn't create the experience. You created the experience of conceptualizing it. Mm-hmm. Right?
There you go, Diana. Yes, that should answer your question from earlier.
All right. Now, again, you don't have to go into some deep meditation. Okay? You don't have to do that. You just focus on the feeling. Don't label the feeling. Don't do this. Do not label it. All right, whatever. Label it. Don't label it. Don't do it. Don't label it. All right? Do not do that. No labels. Just experience it. If it's fear, sit there with it. Then get your ass up and go do it. All right?
Yes, when you have the feeling, do it then and there.
Then and there.
Don't wait for later. Oh, it'll work better if I do it later, or I can't do it right now. I'm in the middle of something.
No. You look, the feelings are not waiting for what is the most opportune time for your ego.
Yeah.
Your feelings are not waiting for the most opportune time for your ego. It just isn't. It's not sitting there like, okay, well, she happens to have the kid standing right there. We'll wait until the kid's gone and then we'll give her the feeling. No.
There's a misconception that eating food gives you energy.
Yeah, that's you know, it's so funny when people say that, because that's the same experience. It's funny. They say that eating food gives you energy, but then they'll be exhausted after eating.
Yes. So Natalie, your example works, but it's not the food that you eat that gives you the energy. You're actually using the energy to create the experience of eating food.
Right.
So yes, you have energy to go to the gym, but you think about going to the gym, you end up not going to the gym. Yes, for the sake of explaining, yes, that's an example. Yes, Layla, we've been told so many lies all our lives, but you told yourself the lie.
Yeah, you told yourself the lie.
Eating makes you tired.
And not just telling yourself the lie, but you accepted the lie. See, telling the lie doesn't mean anything. It's whether or not you accepted it. Did you accept that lie as the truth?
Yes.
Did you accept that lie as the truth? If you did, that's on you. And guess what? It can only be on you because you're the one that accepted it.
I've been so disconnected from my feelings most of the time I don't know what I feel.
All right. Good!
Pretty sure we've been saying you don't have to know what you feel.
You don't need to know. All the people out there, I'm going to save you guys some misery, who say, I'm so disconnected from my feelings. Number one, you're a liar. What you're saying is you don't know how to define your feelings. You don't know how to define them. That's not the same. And if you can't define them, good! Because that's exactly what we're talking about here.
Nobody's disconnected from them.
No one is disconnected from their feelings. You're a liar. And you're a damn good one. Because if you've been operating under that premise for the majority of your life, you've been lying for a really long time.
Diana, that's a very...
Wow.
What?
No, go ahead.
Diana?
No, go.
She says, it's a question. Physical hunger is a symptom for not sitting with your feelings. This is so fucking fucking common, and I used to do it all the time. I would feel something, but I would interpret it as hunger, and I would go eat, even though I wasn't actually hungry. So that was me basically ignoring my intuition, trying to come up with a reason for what I was feeling, and interpreting it as hunger, and then wasting all my energy and doing literally nothing. And then I would wonder why nothing happened in my life. Yeah. But yes, when you feel something, people will interpret it as physical hunger, but it's not.
You don't even know that you're hungry when you're hungry. You're only using signs that you've accepted as hunger.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I feel a little bit uncomfortable, so I'm going to go put some food inside my face.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't even know that you're hungry. You think you know so much. Mm. You don't. You don't know when you're hungry. You don't even know what your feelings are.
I will say, sometimes I get a feeling, and I don't really know what the experience is or the idea is associated with it. Like, what can I do with this? But that's where sitting with it kind of helps.
That's where sitting with it comes in.
Yeah.
It will always come to you if you just sit with it. Always, invariably, it will come to you. When you don't sit with it and you're too busy running around, keeping up the appearances of your representative, then you just miss it.
What if hunger is an addiction because we're feeding into that feeling, but we had to sit with the feeling? Well, yeah. Everyone is addicted to being hungry. Maybe not everyone, but I definitely was. All right.
All right. So we're going to start wrapping this up.
It's a long one.
All right. So allow your feelings to guide you. Your feelings are your guide. They always are. They always have been. They always will be. They are showing you where you blocked yourself to limit yourself as much as possible so that you can have the experience of breaking free of those limitations so that you can have as much fun as possible. Your intuition wants you to enjoy your experience as much as possible, but your intuition will only give you what you consistently focus on. So if you continue to focus and expand yourself, your intuition will give you more of yourself to focus and expand on so that you can have more fun. If you continue to focus on other people, your intuition will put more people in front of you so you can focus on them and get away from yourself. So because that apparently is fun to you, etc., etc. It's really simple. What you focus on expands. If you focus on yourself, you expand. If you focus on other people expand. The obligations that you have to those other people expands. The problems that you have with those other people expands. If you're focused on money problems, your money problems expand. Every single thing that you focus on expands. Period.
Very literal.
Very, very literal. There is no middle ground. What you focus on expands. If you can't focus on yourself, then you won't expand. The thing that will expand is what you're focused on. Hey, your kid's coming up with all kinds of problems. Guess what? Your kid will continue to come up with all kinds of problems because that's what you're focused on. You're focused on your kid having problems. You're looking at your kid with tunnel vision, going, wow, you bastard, you keep getting into trouble.
You are a problem.
You are my problem, you fucking little shit. The kid's not the problem. It's that's how you see them. And that continues to expand. It's the same thing with every other problem that you have in your experience.
To answer one last question that was about how do you know if it's your intuition or just like an idea to deceive you, the feeling and the idea happen at the same time.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, that's true. Go ahead. I'll let you finish. Okay.
No, I was just the feeling and the idea happen at the same time. If you get an idea and there's no feeling, then I would say it's just a thought, a random deception, so to speak.
All right, I'm good. Here we go.
Go ahead.
All right. There's only one question that you have to ask yourself. Is it fun to do?
Oh, yeah, this is really important.
That's it. It's the only question. If it's a yes, it's your intuition. If it's a no, it's your ego. There you go.
Is it fun to do? Would taking my shirt off and showing my titties to everyone be fun? Ooh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. My intuition's like, yes. And my ego says no.
See?
Yeah.
It's very simple. It's not that complicated. You're welcome to complicate this as much as you want.
Some people get what they call intrusive thoughts, like, oh, you should cut off your finger. Would that be fun to do? Probably.
Would you enjoy cutting off your finger? You're like, okay.
No. Maybe don't do that. And that's okay, really. No judgment. Awareness is what matters. Yes, Allah. Yes. If you notice yourself avoiding your feelings and eating, just notice it. Don't judge yourself. All right, y'all. Whew. This was a good one.
All right. Any last questions before we depart? Now, before we do, just to let you guys know, all right, I have a program coming up. It's called the Wealth Accelerator. All right. It's designed to push you past all the limitations that you have posed on yourself. Okay. It's coming up in June. The Wealth Accelerator. All right. Sam will be putting it in the link to her bio at some point in the future, whenever that is.
Yes.
The Wealth Accelerator. We're taking about 40 people, and we're going to shatter some limitations around money. Rather than by some, I mean as many of them as possible. Okay? If that's something that you're interested in, I suggest you get in there. It's going to start on the 3rd of June, so you have some time.
And it sounds really fun, too.
Oh, well, because it will be.
Yeah. It's not like a fucking, how to make a passive income, like, course thing.
No.
No, this is about following your intuition.
This is all using your intuition to create your experience.
Diana, could you put your question in again? I'm not sure what you're referring to by the choosing your experience thing.
All right.
And if we miss it, then...
Whoops.
Yes. So I'll be putting the Wealth Accelerator in my bio on Instagram. If you're not a member of the community, you can join it there. Members do get discounts. What happens after the feeling passes? Did you do what you felt like doing?
Well, hold on. Let me address that. Okay. I did talk about it earlier, but it's possible that was missed. When the feeling passes and it's done, now you have the opportunity to do something else, to have a different experience. Okay. Now, hey, give yourself the opportunity to ride the wave, experience that course of action. Okay. Sometimes that feeling could last for maybe a week or 2 weeks, months, this, and other, but eventually it will fade away. For me, it's been like that for many things. I was a freelancer for some years. I did game development where I designed video games and card games and different board games. I did that for years. I did so many different things, but the feeling attached to those things ran their course. And then I did something else.
Yeah.
I'm not attached to anything that I do. I love what I do, but I could leave tomorrow and go do something else.
Yes. It's not so much waiting for a new feeling, it's allowing a new feeling.
It's allowing.
Yeah.
And it will happen. You don't have to go out of your way. It will happen. Period. It will.
And yes, it can last a while. Exactly. Yes, Diana.
Yes, it can last quite a while. Okay, it doesn't mean it lasts for a day. There is no predetermined amount of time that it lasts. This is why, and actually, I'm glad this came up because I'm going to write this down. All right. Do not set time limits
Ever.
to your experiences. We do this all the time. We go, well, we need to have it done by this amount of time, or it's not going to be any good. Or it's going to be awful. It's going to be blah, blah, blah. We do this so much, okay? And in fact, by setting that time limit, you are actually creating an expectation that you are attempting to follow. What?
No, just people being like, you're such a good teacher.
Thank you.
You're still asking about waiting, Diana?
There's no waiting. Stop waiting.
It's allowing.
Okay? There's no waiting. You can go and live your life and whatever, and then all of a sudden something hits you. Bink! Oh. What is that?
The thing about waiting is that there's an expectation for it to happen, and then you just keep waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. But when you allow it, you focus on other things. You're doing what you feel motivated to do in the moment, and then it just pops up. Whether it's a relationship, it's money, it's a vacation. If you're waiting for a vacation, you're going to be waiting for a long fucking time, or anything else.
Now, I want to actually, this has a little to do with this, but I do want to say this. If a mentor or a teacher expresses interest in you, do not take this lightly. Okay? Do not take this lightly, because I'm telling you, that shit is it's not common. It's not common. If a mentor is like, you know what, I like talking to you. If a mentor says that, you need to find a way to ride that wave. Okay? And by that, you let it happen. When I say find a way, I don't actually mean find a way, but you just let it be. Okay? You don't take it lightly. Don't brush it off. The moment you brush it off, this actually happens a lot. I tell, or maybe not a lot, but I tell some people, you know, I like talking to you. You're pretty cool. You know what they do? They go, well, I don't know what you mean. I'm not that cool. I don't want to talk to them no more. I don't want to talk to them. I don't talk to them no more. We're done. Conversation's over. You know why the conversation's over? Because I'm saying, hey, you're pretty cool. I like talking to you. And then the first thing you do is belittle yourself. No, we're done. Conversation's over. No thanks. I'm not interested in talking to you any further. Not interested. If a mentor talks to you, reaches out to you, says hello, this, that, and other, do not take it lightly. You may have already had people who have tried to help you in your experience that you took for granted.
Listen to the dude.
Excuse me?
Alicia's like, listen to the dude. Yes.
That you took for granted. Do not take it lightly. All right? With that being said, I'm done.
All right. Bye. Okay, good. Glad everyone's following. We will see you all later. And if you're interested in getting even more content, like we have so much fucking content about phase 2 inside our mentorship community, you can join that via the link in my bio on Instagram. We do these classes every Monday. They're for members only. Monday mentorship classes that will guide you. Okay. Bye. All right. Bye.